Missy LeBlanc here, and I'm recording this via Loom because my reality today isn't looking like what I thought it was. So, you know, what do? You just get on and you do the thing. Change the plan, but never the goal. So here I am. I'm gonna show you this in real time, okay? This is my screen. I was meaning to like record over here. Veterans Day today in the United States, and I did not account for that today, and this is when I'm supposed to have the schedule to do. Like, this is my background, like my life with my daughters and being out of school today. I ran them down to the Veterans Parade and the ceremony that they did, the cake cutting ceremony that they do every year here. And here I am. So this is real time. But what do? You jump on it anyway. So I have this written down here. And I'm just going to have some slides. So you're not going to see me like this the whole time. I'll have some slides for you to look at. But this is where we're going today. I promised you the RAADD method to massive flow. Okay, turning on the faucet to increase your impact and your income. This is a class that I used to teach just off the cuff. So take some notes. And I mean, I used to call this the RAADD method to massive change. And since I have more flow concepts built in here, because I've learned a lot in the decades since teaching this, then I'm going to teach you everything that worked then and everything that's working now. So R, write this down, is to recognize that you need a change. Okay, you're only a shift away from where you want to be. Oftentimes it's only a perspective shift away from where you want to be. It's just the awareness of the resistance that's been showing up. And it's just recognizing that there needs to be a change. There needs to be a shift. I want to turn on flow. Maybe there's a stuck or a stopper in my flow. And A is admit where the shift deserves an increase. And that's how we're going to be looking at things. My daughter doesn't know I'm recording. And also meaning it's your accountability. So A is your accountability. And what are you accountable for? And I mean it when like we're talking about like accelerated increase and turning on that impact and income. And this is how it's radical accountability to and for what? Like admitting like what part of this is mine and looking at reality and results that I have in my life. And we're going to do this. We're going to look at our reality and results despite the how. Like, so we're not going to talk about the how or the story right now. We're just looking at the results and the reality for what it is. And the reality is also your personal reality. And it's like how you see your life, your experiences, the world, other people, and how that translates into the world. So your reality is your personal reality. And what's real for you, and being accountable for that on a radical level. And I talk more about this in some other classes that I do. But the next A, so that's the first R, is you've got to recognize you need a change. That first A is accountability, is admit where the shift deserves an increase. Okay. And then the next A is adjust for the alignments. Be willing to adjust the mindset, the thoughts, the behavior, the emotions, and even the information behind that story and that reality that you're, the story and your personal reality, and be willing to trade up. So it's adjust for the alignment, and it's trading up. And it's like letting go for like letting God, or letting go for letting goodness, that increase. There's like a meme that I love, and it's like this little girl holding this little teddy bear behind her back, and then there's a picture of this leader or Jesus Christ or like whatever that thought leader is to that little girl, and Jesus is holding a big stuffed bear behind his back, and the girl can't see how much bigger of a prize and how much bigger of an exchange that is, but she can't get it unless she decides to let go. And that's what we call trading up. There's universal laws that support this, but so adjust for the alignment and be willing to adjust for the alignment. And it's also like, what got you here won't get you there. So if you're wanting to go there, it's not going to come from the same space that got you here unless you like where here is. And if you're, listening to this, it's probably because you want more flow and more increase, don't we all, right? And this is just a radical way to do it, like to increase. These are all principles that work and that are true. So the next, so also what got you here won't get you there, and you can only get to where you're coming from. So make sure you're coming from who you are, right? That's like super on purpose. Make sure you're coming from who you are, your values, your purpose, what matters to you, where you're wanting to go next. And then that takes us into the next D, okay? Which is the first D, which is decide what you're committed to, okay? Your joy, your freedom, kindness, your purpose, making money, making a difference, your increase, your impact, or your income. Like, what is the desired outcome that you're wanting? And get detailed with it. Like, don't be afraid to get real with yourself. Get detailed. Like, what's the dream that you've kept hidden, that you're not telling yourself, that maybe you've said I can't do instead of how can I? Like, we're gonna do these like shifts of increase, right? And decide what you're committed to, and what is the desired outcome of that, and what's the gap between your reality and your personal reality and that desired outcome. Like, the difference between that, because I want you to write that down, that's important, is the next D, which is do it differently. And this gets really exciting than you've ever done, okay? Or plug back into a way that works. And we're just going to do it differently. Like, remember, you can only get to where you're coming from, and we want to make sure that we're coming from that aligned, authentic authority and space, from who you are, that's how you can make the most impact and income authentically. And so we're going to do it different than we've ever done, or in a way that's worked, and by our own design and our own strategy. And different is beautiful. Doing it differently is beautiful. Like, we've been taught, like, just on a society level, that different is like taboo, like to be feared, and it's not. Different isn't scary, and it's nothing to be feared. But we've confused different with fear. Fascinating, right? So it's a little bit of deconditioning in that. So also identity, the identity piece in this, like, you can only get to where you're coming from. Make sure you do it from who you are, is also part of purpose. Like, it's a formula to purpose. There's actually like the purpose formula. It's really cool. I had like a business coach that sat me down and taught this to me. He used to teach like corporations and companies, like, take them from millions to billions using like these concepts, because they're laws and they're principles. And so it's like the purpose formula using the law of three. Now I have time to go over that in this, but it's what I'm going to do next. Okay. But just know that identity is part of purpose, and it's an important piece. So making sure that we're doing it differently, that we're taking like where we're coming from seriously as the person, the CEO, the mom, fill in the blank that we want to be. So my next class will actually be like the 4 ways to live in overflow. This is like fast track the faucet to turning on the overflow, to increasing the flow. And my next one's going to be like to live in overflow, to stay in overflow, to operate in the 4 flow types. And so I'm going to go over that. And one of those is purpose flow. And I'm going to break down all of that, like what a little bit of what I went over, and go over the law of three, what we're activating, what's restraining, what we're reconciling, being in those three all of the time to make sure that we're constantly keeping that flow going. Whatever we're activating in our lives, and the thing that we're activating, the bigger flow stops we're going to have, and we want to make sure that we keep the stay in overflow. And so this is how we turn it on, this is how we turn it on. And I want to make sure that we keep it sustained for you. And for those of you guys who are already ready for what's next, then join Jane and I. We partnered together as a power bestie couple, and because I'm a business consultant for creative entrepreneurs who are ready to amplify their biggest impact and income and authority and community. So I am that leader that assists in healing, creating, and leading, remembering who you are. And if that speaks to you, we're opening our doors again to Story Stage Authority, which is our flagship program to getting your story shared with the world, and making sure that you have an audience that loves you and wants to buy from you and supports you, while creating dynamic communities and partnering with other people, and basically creating a dynamic platform for yourself to make sure that you're in your own authentic authority and aligned, bringing that purpose out to the world. Like, we're so excited to launch this and have you part of it. So if you're wanting to, if you're already wanting to be part of that with us, then hop on the phone with me and we'll talk about what that looks like for you. And this is 6 months. So work with us for 6 months, and we'll have that conversation and make sure that you're launched. And I'm all about that 6-figure launch, because that's what I did my first year in business with 5 kids from home. That one online, pre-COVID. So if I can do it, you can do it. And I feel very passionate about showing you your way, just leading you to your way. So let me know if you want to have a one-on-one conversation, and stay tuned for my next MissyClass. Bye, everyone.